Health warning. IndianExpress.com health warning today, 12:47 a.m. Top news Tubelite box office collection day 12. Salman Khan film to have worst second week after Veer Simi read my note for sale on Flipkart at 12 noon. Comes with buyback guarantee as well. PM Modi raises terror on groundbreaking visit Israel. PM Benjamin Netanyahu welcomes mere dust in June 2009 when HTC launched the Android-operated smartphone in India. The child reported by this newspaper as amongst the country's youngest mobile phone dependents was barely a toddler. The 9-year-old, who turned suicidal after being deprived of his smartphone, is being counseled at Delhi's Sir Ganga Ram Hospital. But the Diagnostic Manual of Psychiatrists doesn't yet have a formal moniker for the child's condition. Mental health experts, the world over, however, do recognize that as people use the smartphones for work, play, entertainment, information, education, paying bills, their effects are not always positive. The convenience afforded by the myriad apps on the smartphone is empowering, but as the pocket-sized information banks become central to our lives, they also affect our physical and mental health. The desire for hyperconnectivity has created a compulsive attachment to the gadgets, and the consequences cannot be taken lightly. A 2014 study by the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurological Sciences (NIMHANS) found obsessive mobile phone surfing as the most common form of internet addiction, with people in the age group of 14 to 35 most prone to such addiction. Very often, the blame could be laid at the doorstep of parents. It's not uncommon for parents to view mobile phones or tablets as substitutes for kids' toys. It's also not unusual for kids to turn their attention to virtual car racing or shooting games on the tablet while they are using the gadget to do their homework. Mental health experts see the germs of mobile phone addiction in such behavior. In India, only the NIMHANS and a few private hospitals like Sir Ganga Ram have facilities to deal with mobile phone addiction. The Telecom, Human Resources and Health Ministries and private medical bodies should join hands before mobile phone addiction becomes a serious public health issue. More top news. Israeli help and Indian jugaad in recapture of Tiger Hill. ICARAIEAUG, PG results 2017 to be declared today at iCareExam.net. Communal violence in West Bengal over objectionable Facebook post. Center Russia's paramilitary troops. For all the latest opinion news, download Indian Express app. Read, post, comments, visit website. Handling Pyongyang. IndianExpress.com handling Pyongyang today, 12:40 a.m. Related news. North Korea missile launch, UN Security Council to hold emergency meeting. Vladimir Putin and Xi talking. North Korea, trade at Kremlin. North Korea claims to have successfully tested ballistic missile that landed in Japan's EEZ. North Korea's test of its HWASONG-14 ballistic missile is, potentially, one more step towards catastrophe in one of the world's most perilous regions. Though it is unclear if the missile is, as Pyongyang claims, capable of hitting the United States. According to an estimate, the HWASONG-14 has a maximum trajectory 6,700 kilometers, putting only Alaska in its range. The underlying message is clear. Intercontinental ballistic missiles are generally reckoned to have a range of 5,500 kilometers or more, and by any reckoning, North Korea now has one. Pyongyang had earlier put on display the HWASONG-13 KN-08 with a claimed range of 11,500 kilometers and the NOTS-14 with a claimed range of 10,000 kilometers. It can only be a matter of time, most experts concur, before those ranges are realized. That could bring the continental United States within range of North Korea's nuclear weapons, as soon as, that is, the country develops a warhead small enough to be fitted onto a ballistic missile. No one knows for certain when that might be. Indeed, the prudent answer for policymakers might well be to work on the basis that North Korea already has a missile deliverable warhead. President Donald Trump, who just 3 days ago fulminated that his patience was running out with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, seems to have developed second thoughts. Does this guy have anything better to do with his life? Trump tweeted in the wake of the test. Hard to believe that South Korea and Japan will put up with this much longer. Perhaps China will put a heavy move on North Korea. There was, of course, a country conspicuously missing from that list. Neither South Korea nor Japan are in a position to act unilaterally against North Korea for fear of Chinese retaliation. China, in turn, will not squeeze North Korea except in the face of express United States threats. There will, of course, now be a tightening of the sanctions screws on North Korea. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, on his recent US visit, agreed to collaborate more closely with the global sanctions regime against Pyongyang, to which India is the second largest exporter. These sanctions have done little to stall North Korea's missile and nuclear program, though. Perhaps it is time for a review of the sanctions regime, in favor of an alternative approach that would give Pyongyang tangible rewards in return for tempering its nuclear weapons ambitions as a resoluteness and incoherence. More related news: in Korea test fires ballistic missile ahead of G20 summit. US experts say missile capable of reaching Alaska. North Korea missile launch. Hope Japan, South Korea, China end this nonsense once and for all. Tweets Donald Trump. US renews pressure on China with an eye on North Korea threat. For all the latest opinion news, download Indian Express app. Read, post, comments, visit website. No story of its own. IndianExpress.com. No story of its own today, 12:05 a.m. Related news: presidential election. Meera Kumar meets MLAs, says she is fighting for inclusiveness. Trouble in Tripura Trinamool unit. All MLAs likely to join BJP this month. APS Punjab ally Lok Insaf Party to back Ram Nath Kovind for president. The public sparring between Nitish Kumar and the Congress over the former breaking opposition ranks to support the NDA's candidate for president may have subsided for now, but it has been revealing. At the very least, it has shown the opposition as less united than it pretends to be. In fact, with the primary poll of the anti-BJP front, the Congress, looking irresolute, and the most eye-catching anti-Modi political persona, Nitish, appearing inconsistent, it sends out a larger message of an opposition still floundering 3 years later, still unable to step up to its role at a time when a strong government needs to be checked and balanced for democracy's sake. The presidential contest is all but won by the BJP's choice. But after it is over, and Ram Nath Kovind is installed in Rashtrapati Bhavan, non-BJP parties would do well to reflect on how they let down their own candidate, Meera Kumar, by making her appear as a belated Me Too Dalit choice of a divided front. In a diverse and layered democracy, the making of alliances and fronts is a hazardous exercise because of interests that are competing and conflicting. Take Nitish, for instance. For him, arguably, the imperative of opposition unity at the national level must contend with the pulls and pressures of running the Mahagathbandhan government in Bihar. The expectation of consistency or a national framework from regional players, therefore, must take into account their specific and shifting local circumstance. But the present-day opposition seems too desultory, too incapable of the political hard work required to stitch together varied stories into one. Moreover, even if Nitish's apparent somersaults could be read as the compulsions of the smaller player, the Congress's hesitations seem more inexplicable. In the last 3 years, ever since its defeat at the centre by the Modi BJP, the Congress has seemed to be a party in search of itself. It has lost prominent leaders of its own because of its lack of energy. It has seemed strikingly miscast in the role of the leader of the joint opposition front. The Congress-led opposition has allowed the BJP and its government to rest the political initiative on successive issues, including demonetization, and, as on the GST, to appropriate credit for projects and policies that it had contributed to or begun. The Congress's churlishness in boycotting the special session in Parliament on the GST was an illustrative example of its inability to think politically, weigh costs, make distinctions. The Congress may or may not have fully made up with Nitish, but it would do well to listen to him when he says that the opposition is unduly reactive, that it lacks a plan and a story of its own. Else, this unequal battle between a strong-willed government and its incoherent political opponent looks set to play on. More related news.